fellow coffee lovers. I am so excited to share this video. Today I am teaching you how to make 5 different iced coffee recipes that are refreshing and flavorful and just simply fun to make. So I hope they add a little happiness to you and your taste buds, and they're just so perfect to enjoy in these spring and summer months. So I really hope you all like them, and let's get into the first recipe. First up, we have one of my favorites, this refreshing mint mocha. And just a little FYI, all of the ingredients that I use for these recipes will be written in the description down below for your convenience, so you can screenshot and add them to your grocery list. But for the mint mocha, the first step is to brew up some iced coffee, and you can use whatever tool you have to do this. So for me, I decided to use my French press. So I just added a couple tablespoons of ground coffee and then my boiling hot water. But since we're making a mocha, I added some cocoa powder to my French press as well. And since we're specifically making a mint mocha, I also added some fresh mint leaves. And these are the key ingredient and truly make such a difference and add such a twist. If you are a mint chocolate lover, this is definitely the coffee recipe for you. And I just think it's so absolutely perfect for spring and summer months because it gives you your caffeine fix while also adding a cool, refreshing flavor to your mornings or afternoons or whenever you choose to enjoy it. So once you let your coffee brew in your French press or whatever it may be, you can get your glass ready. And I decided to be extra fancy and I added some melted dark chocolate around my glass rim, and I just stuck it in the freezer for a few minutes so that it could harden. But this was really simple to do. I just melted some chocolate chips and then dipped the tip of the glass, and it really just elevated the whole thing immensely. So highly recommend. And then you simply just pour in your coffee and then top it with another mint leaf for a little flair. And it's as simple as that. I seriously cannot wait to make this all summer long. Okay, next up we have a caramel Dalgona, or otherwise known as whipped coffee, and I would just be remiss if I didn't include this in this video because it is just so timely because these are all the rage nowadays. And the first time I made this, I wasn't a huge fan because it was so sugary, but I tried to make it with less sugar and it turned out to be just as good, well actually better, because it didn't make me shaky for the rest of the day. So I just added in 1.5 teaspoons of instant coffee and then 1 teaspoon of sugar. You're also gonna need to add in 1/4 a cup of boiling water. And then I poured in some of my salted caramel syrup, and I just have this one in my pantry, but you can choose to make your own caramel syrup by looking up a tutorial. And I'm gonna show you how to make coconut syrup later in this video, but there's also the option to just buy coconut syrup. It depends on the level of effort you would like to put into your homemade coffee. So it's totally up to you, but you'll just need some kind of caramel syrup. And then you just whisk it all together. And here's the crazy part, because it really takes forever. Not literally, but it takes a very long time to whisk it to get it nice and frothy and thick. And you can use a electric mixer, which definitely helps speed up the process. But for the sake of this video, I just wanted to show you that it is possible to do it with a handheld whisk, because I know that is more likely to be in people's kitchen. So you just gotta get a little wrist and arm workout, but it's worth it because this is so fun to make and so super delicious. So once it's all whipped up, I just poured in some coconut milk and ice and then topped it off with my coffee. Next up, we have our salted vanilla honey cold brew, and this is just some of my favorite flavors. And I actually make my own cold brew with this handy dandy tool that I'll link down below. but you can always buy store-bought cold brew or purchase it from your favorite local coffee shop and then use that. And you just pour that over ice. And the main flavor that we're gonna add is through our frothed milk. And this is kind of like the Starbucks cold foam situation. So basically what I do is I add some half and half to my Capresso frother, which I'll link a couple different frothers that'll work well for you down below. And then I add in some honey, some sea salt, and some vanilla extract. And then I just let it do its thing and froth it all together. And once it's done, I just pour it over my cold brew for a delicious, sweet, but not overbearingly sweet treat. Okay, now we have our toasted coconut iced latte, and this one is definitely the most time-consuming one to create, but if you have a lot of time on your hands, you might as well. So the first thing we're gonna do is toast our coconut because we are making homemade toasted coconut syrup. So I got the sweetened baker's coconut and I just added that to a baking tray and then preheated my oven to 350 degrees and let it get nice and toasty for about 10 minutes, but I did check on it just to make sure that I didn't burn it. Also, this is such a delicious snack on its own. I had a few bites of the toasted coconut and wow, it is so delicious. So once you have that, you add that to your pot and add half a cup of water and 1/4 a cup of sugar and a squeeze of honey. And then you are going to bring it to a boil. And once it's boiling, you're gonna turn off the heat and let it sit for 30 minutes. And you can let it sit for longer if you have the time and if you'd like. And basically you're just letting it steep and soak up all the toasted coconut flavor. And then you have your lovely and delicious toasted coconut homemade syrup. So now I'm gonna add some coconut milk to my glass. Of course, you can use your favorite milk choice, but since this is a toasted coconut latte, I thought it was fitting to add coconut milk, and it is my favorite kind of milk, so that just worked out perfectly. And then I poured in a few spoonfuls of my syrup. And once again, I made some coffee with my French press and let it cool down, and then I poured it over the ice. And of course, I had to add a little froth to the top, and so I added some half and half and some more toasted coconut syrup and let that froth away. And poured it over my iced coffee. To top off the drink, I sprinkled some of my toasted coconut to just enhance the whole thing. Okay, lastly, we are going to end on a super simple note. And I'm gonna show you how to make a vanilla cinnamon cold brew. So it's kind of like a cold brew / coffee hybrid because I already had some cold brew that I already made, but I also have my favorite coffee from Trader Joe's, this French vanilla blend, and I thought it would be perfect to add a little bit more of that vanilla flavor to my coffee. So I brewed a tiny bit of the regular iced coffee, and then I mixed that in with my cold brew so I could really get that strong caffeine flavor, but also have those vanilla notes as well. And this is just a perfect example of using what you have and getting creative. You don't have to follow these recipes exactly. You can experiment and make them your own. And once again, the real magic and flavor comes with our foam at the top. So once again, I'm adding some half and half vanilla extract. And I actually have this vanilla syrup as well, and I just love vanilla, so I wanted to add extra flavor, so I poured in some of my vanilla syrup and some cinnamon, and then let your frother do its thing. And there you have it. You just pour it over your yummy cold brew. It's always so mesmerizing to see it kind of sink down and combine with the cold brew. I could just watch this all day. And finally, you just top it all off with a sprinkle of cinnamon. And that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed these recipes, and let me know if you recreate them. I would love to see them. You can comment or tag me on Instagram so I can take a look. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love and appreciate you all so much and cannot wait to see you soon. Bye.